go back to the late 80s and just the concept of 24/7 sports talk radio. When you first heard what was going to happen, what was your reaction to that?
You know, I was amazed. I remember I was actually on a plane with Pat Musburger, and in my job where I traveled with him extensively all the time. I mean, I was one of the Musburger Mafia at the time, and the concept came up, and he and I were discussing work or not, and to his credit, he thought it would work. I was skeptical, and especially skeptical in a town like New York, because New York is such a big town, so diverse, so cosmopolitan, and so international. I wondered whether it could really take off. And when they started it, when I went in and met with them, I thought they were definitely going down the wrong road, because I knew bringing in strangers to New York would be a very hard sell. And it was an utter disaster for a while until they got on the right path and made it what it has to be. If you want to be really successful in a town, you have to be live and local. Otherwise, it's not going to work, especially in a town like New York. I mean, because it's a town that really, believe it or not, takes to its own very strongly.
But when did you know you had something with Chris?
Well, you know, it's funny. We both had some success breaking through on our own, doing solo shows in the 6 months leading up to the beginning of our show. They put us together against our will. We both wanted the afternoon drive. We knew they weren't renewing Pete Franklin. I was a candidate. Dog was a candidate. Both of us were working, doing stints on Imus in the morning. Imus favored Dog at the time more than he favored me. And so I knew the only way I could go was with him. We had a lot of people pulling us in opposite directions. Almost all of the station and all of the New York critics were against it. Every one of them thought it was a terrible idea. They wrote it was a terrible idea. And frankly, the first couple of weeks, the reviews were awful. The guy who put it together, Mark Mason, thought he was going to get fired. He brought us in a room and said, listen, if you guys don't make this work, you're not going to be here and I'm not going to be here. And then we started a promotion called Dog Date Afternoon that he took to, which I give him credit for. He was single at the time. I wasn't. We petitioned people for dates. We put a whole thing together. He was a very good sport about it. It kind of softened everything. And really, though, Dan, it was more result-oriented than anything else. We got the first book back, and we had gone from 11th to 3rd in the first book. And then it was, wait a second, what's going on here? By the second book, we were first by a mile. And then you knew had taken the whole city by storm. So within 6 months, we had gone from it will never work, we hate each other, to we were the toast of the town. So then there was no looking back, even though we had some problems, and we always had problems, because we were individuals that fought each other the whole time while we were a good team together, and that never ceased. But I think that also created a lot of the heat that created such a good show.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.